ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैता वासुदेव गौर भक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। I am not speaking directly from a verse. Today's topic is Srila Prabhupada books, simple yet deep. That's the topic. So, the central message of this lecture is that Prabhupada books are, without reading Prabhupada books, will not understand what is the aim of life and achieve perfection of life. Without understanding, without reading, without practicing them. So why Srila Prabhupada books are so important to us? How can so many people all around the world read these books and become pure devotees? How is it that even a child can understand these books and even a scholar can do PhD on these books? So what is there in these books? Why these books are so important for this world? Not for Houston or America. For humanity. And what makes these books different from other books? That's what I'm going to talk today and try to show you that these books are special. In fact, these books are saram udahritam, Bhagavatam says, the essence of all Vedic literatures. Now why I'm going to show you is this, because it's not that we belong to ISKCON and that is why we are telling you. But from a neutral point of view, if you read these books, you will know how special they are. And that is Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada always said, I shall never die. I shall forever remain in my books. Prabhupada said, if you want to know me, if you want to know Krishna, read my books. So what is so special about them? Let's discuss. And in the process, you'll be inspired to read these books. No? Prabhupada said, read my books as law books. Law books. You can afford to forget your name, but you can't afford to forget the message of these books. That's important. If you're sleeping, and if I wake you up and ask your name, you might forget it, no problem. But if I wake you up in the sleep and I ask, okay, Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, 20th verse, what's that? You should be able to tell me. That's what these books are all about. If you forget Prabhupada books, you forget Krishna's instructions. If you forget Krishna's instructions, you forget Krishna. If you forget Krishna, you forget yourself. And if you forget yourself, then Bhagavatam calls such a person who doesn't know who he is mad. Nunam pramatta, he is mad actually. So why these books are special? Okay, let's see. Now, Srila Prabhupada books, why they are special? Because they help us to clear our doubts, to help us get rid of our ignorance, and also help us to develop faith in Krishna. Now why I am saying this? Because this is the age of confusion. This is Kali Yuga. No? Kali means, Prabhupada translates, age of confusion and hypocrisy. Quarrel. So it is very difficult to know what is truth. What is truth? Whom to follow? There are so many spiritual institutions, no? So many gurus, so many books. So what to follow? So one way is you read all books of all institutions. One way is you read Vedas. Those are the original source of knowledge, is it? So to get rid of all this confusion, find truth. Okay, fine, let's read Vedas. Everybody knows what are Vedas? How many people know what are Vedas? Really? Have you seen Vedas? How many people have seen Vedas? No, very few, is it? Vedas are but as Indians you might be knowing, there are 4 Vedas, no? Rig, Sam, Yajur and Athar, 4 Vedas. And these are books, these are not cookies or Coca-Cola. Vedas are, if you ask modern children what are Vedas, they will say, which uncle's name is it? I don't know, they might say. I was in India preaching, Punjab. So there I told, okay, Ramayana is written by Valmiki. So one child asked me, so where can we meet this Uncle Valmiki? Children don't know nowadays. We also don't know. So Vedas are Rig, Sam, Yajur, Atharv. And then, so you have to read all 4 Vedas if you want to know what is truth, because that's the original source of knowledge. Everybody understands and accepts this fact. So, but then to read Vedas, you need to read some other books also. You need to read Sanskrit, because Vedas are written in Sanskrit. And not ordinary Sanskrit, but Vedic Sanskrit. That's very different. So for that you might have to spend 12 years to learn that. To learn Sanskrit first of all. Messages afterwards. And then, but still you will not be able to read Vedas, because to read Vedas you need to decode them. Vedas are written in codes, which are called sutras. Sutras? Codes. And you have to decode them. So for that you have to read 6 books more. That is Shiksha, Kalp, Vyakaran, Nirukt, Jyotish and Chand. And each book will take you probably 3 years. So 6 into 3, 18. Okay. 18 years. Plus 12 years. How many years? How many it means? Okay, 30. So 30 years of your life you are reading to just start reading Vedas. And then you start reading Vedas and you decode them, and then you start understanding them. And understanding, who knows how much time it will take, because you need time for that, but you don't have time. So what to do? If you want to search truth, and if you want to read Vedas and do research, you need 36 full years, day after day, second after second, nothing doing anything else. You just spend your time like that, and then you can read and understand. So Krishna knew this, that it's impossible for the people of this age to read all these things. First of all, not just because of lack of time, but because of lack of intelligence and patience. So what to do? So Krishna came and spoke Bhagavad Gita. This is Bhagavad Gita, 5,000 years ago. And he gave the message of Vedas in this book, to remove all your doubts. And that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 40th verse. He says, Agyascha shraddhanascha samshaya atma vinashyati na ayam lokvasti na paro sukham asamshayam atmanam. So Krishna says, people of this age are ignorant, or they purposefully keep themselves in ignorance. We like to be in ignorance, no? Because if we know, okay, fine. When we tell people that why don't you try to understand God, they say no, life is okay, it's going on. Why to unsettle our life? We are getting money, everything is settled, let it go on like that. Agyas, that is called agyani, ignorant. So they are ignorant. Then Krishna says, Ashraddhadhana, even if you get knowledge and remove ignorance, you will not develop faith so easily. To develop faith, you need good amount of association of wise people. Just by reading, you can't get faith. And even if you get faith, samshaya atma, you will develop doubts. So to remove ignorance, faithlessness and doubts, this book is spoken. You don't need to read Vedas. Good news is, you don't need to read Vedas, you don't need to read Sanskrit, you don't need to spend so many years. Just read this book, 18 chapters, 700 verses. And even if you can't even read this book, then Krishna will be weeping. You can see him. What to do? You can't do anything. If you're so lazy to do that, what can anybody do? So Krishna spoke this for a benefit. You simply have to read this. All faithlessness gone, all doubts gone, everything becomes clear. And that's what actually Krishna did in Gita. For example, 5th chapter, 20th verse. Krishna says, Krishna removes our ignorance. He gives us knowledge. He says, Bhoktaram yagatapsam sarvaloka maheshwaram. You all know devotees. Suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. I am the supreme enjoyer. I am supreme. I am God. All other, whoever it is, they are all Devi Devta or demigods. There is no one superior, no one equal to me. He gives us knowledge. He destroys the ignorance. He destroys our faithlessness. In 1866, Krishna says, famous verse, Sar dharman paritajye mamekam. Surrender unto me. Don't have faith in me. And then he destroys our doubts in Gita. Just one verse is required to destroy all your doubts, which is that verse. And that verse is Bhagavad Gita 16 chapter 8th verse. And you should know this verse. Krishna says in that verse, what's that verse? I just missing my Kim anyat kama hetukam was the first line. Asatyam apratishtamte jagadahor anishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kim anyat kama hetukam. One verse of Bhagavad Gita can finish all your doubts. Krishna says here, see, anybody who follows this philosophy, they are wrong. Now what are their philosophy? Some people say asatyam. Prabhupada comments in the verse. Some people say this word is asatya. Asatya means not true. Anybody who says this is not true, Brahm Satya Jagat Mithya, people say, then they are not true. No, wrong. Asatyam apratishtamte. Anybody who says this word is like this, there is no cause. It's just going on like this. Like scientist, Big Bang, and then it goes on. Krishna says they are wrong. So in one verse, all these people who say this word is asatya, like Mayavadis, Krishna defeats them. Krishna says they are wrong. He gives conclusions. All doubts removed. He says scientists are wrong as far as these theories are concerned. And aparaspara sambhutam. People who say that God is there, word is there, but God doesn't have to do with this word. Anything. He created and this is going on like this and he's sitting in clouds and enjoying. If you find anybody saying like that, Krishna says that's wrong. That is aparaspara sambhutam. There are philosophy in Vedas, Nyaya, Vaisheshika philosophies, which claim this. Krishna says those philosophies are wrong. Then Krishna says, Kim manyat kama ahitukam. Some people say that this word is only for enjoyment. All these people, anywhere outside this temple premises, they'll be saying this. If you find anybody saying this word is just for enjoyment, this life is for enjoyment without God, we don't say stop enjoyment, but you should enjoy with Krishna, then they are wrong. Krishna says these people have misconceptions. You understand? So Krishna removes our doubts like that. Just one verse, and there's so many verses like that. Prabhupada does the same thing in his books. This is the first speciality of Prabhupada books. You go and read these books, just like this Bhagavad Gita. If you read these purports of this book and other small books, Prabhupada is doing this exactly the same thing. He's removing our ignorance in his books. Every page of Prabhupada's books, it says Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. See? It's a beautiful, Prabhupada doesn't put it as Krishna is God. That's abstract. Prabhupada says Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's a well thought, constructed sentence. And very deep, simple but deep. He's supreme. That means Krishna is God. Shiva, Durga, Ganesh Ji, Brahma, they are all demigods. They are under Krishna. Personality, he's a person. He's not a light. You can see him face to face. Prabhupada says, if you practice devotion nicely, one day you can see Krishna face to face. You can talk to him. We can talk to him. Just like I'm talking, you're seeing me. We are seeing him now. But he's not talking to us. That's the problem. That's the problem. So when we come and see him, we are happy he's here, but we are sad that he doesn't talk to us. It's both. Both feelings are there when a devotee takes darshan of Krishna. So Prabhupada says personality. He's a personality. He's having his desires. He likes something. He doesn't like something. See, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Godhead is a different word. Nowadays probably it's not used, but it's a word. Godhead means there are many gods. Shiva is also called God in Vedas. Durga is also called God. Bhagavan, this word is used. Ishvara. But for Krishna it is Parameshvara. Parameshwar. So Prabhupada translates Parameshwar as Godhead and other as simple ordinary gods. And this is very important. So every page Prabhupada is repeating Krishna Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ignorance finished. We have knowledge. And Prabhupada gives us faith. Surrender to Krishna. Love Him. Have faith in Him. No matter what He does with you, you should keep on loving Him. That's Prabhupada's. In fact, Prabhupada says in his books like that. Even if He neglects you, we are still His servants. That's, in fact, in one of the purport, Prabhupada says in Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, he says, Krishna's thoughtful reciprocation is to neglect you. So, anybody whom Krishna loves, He will neglect. Now that's funny, you might say, come on, what kind of God is this? But Krishna says, when I neglect them, their devotion increases more, When a mother neglects a child, what child does? He weeps more. And then he starts shouting. And then mother goes, okay. So when Krishna neglects his devotees shout, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram. And then Krishna comes, okay, good. And then we feel happiness. The more hungry you are, the more food will look tasty. So Krishna increases the hunger. Once there was an earthquake in India. Once means there are many times earthquake. But a very big earthquake. So in Bombay we were there, and when building was like, all devotees came out, standing on the road, and they were chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then earthquake stopped a little bit. Many years back there was an earthquake in Bharuch, in Gujarat. You know that? And buildings were finished, everything was finished. So they were chanting when earthquake was, Hare Krishna, at the top of their voice. And then earthquake finished. And when earthquake finished, they stopped chanting, and then they came. They stopped chanting, in fact. So one devotee told that I pray to Krishna, let earthquake keep on coming. So you'll always be chanting Hare Krishna with your heart. We chant now, but not exactly with heart. So Krishna, to make us pure and to help us chanting by heart, He might neglect us. That is Prabhupada's realization. I have found this statement nowhere. In Acharya's books, in Vedas, it is there, but it's difficult to take out. But Prabhupada says, right in 1st canto, this sentence, and that's what Prabhupada books make. Prabhupada books are very unique, if you think about that. So this is Prabhupada books. Simple yet deep. First quality of Prabhupada books is, they help us, give us knowledge, remove our doubts. We have so many doubts. Who is God? Who is not God? Why to do devotion? Why not to do devotion? How to do devotion? All these things, and help us to keep our faith, so that entire life we can keep on going. And it's difficult to serve Krishna whole life. There's so many things pulling us back in this world. You walk on the street, there's so many advertisements calling us, come to me. And then we get enticed and we forget Krishna. But if you read Prabhupada books, you will never forget Him. You will never forget Krishna. That's the potency. But the question is, how does Prabhupada help us? In what manner he has written his books so that they become so powerful that many people all around the world, even if they read once, they become devotees. When I was reading in medical college, I first got Prabhupada books, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. There's a book, small book. I read that and immediately I became devotee. I didn't understand anything, but I became devotee. Why? Because I could understand one thing, that this person who is writing this book, he is giving us truth and nothing but the truth. He is not trying to please the reader as other people write. No, if you take any other spiritual book, they will write, okay, please make your life better, improve it, you'll be more happy. Is it? That's how it begins. And you will see divine light, and you will fly in air, whatever they want to write. But Prabhupada doesn't write like that. And Prabhupada starts his book as, you are wasting your life. What is this? The first line. I read this, teaching Lord Chaitanya, come on. And the next line is, if you don't understand Krishna, then you will glide down to animal species of life. So, that's how his books begin. So, in fact, one of the devotee, Prabhupada disciple, he said, I think it was Satsvarup Maharaj who quoted. He said, when we first met Prabhupada, just by seeing him we could understand that this old man will not cheat us. There were many cheaters at that time, no? America coming and propagating. Because he was speaking truth. He was speaking his practical realizations. That is second uniqueness in Prabhupada books. Prabhupada said in one of his letter in 1977, May 28, oh sorry, not letter, but room conversation, May 28, 1977, Vrindavan. He said, my books are having practical realizations. They are not ABCD translation. That is why they are popular. And people read and change their lives. So Prabhupada was a realized person. He gave us his realization in his books. And what do you mean by realization? Realization means most of the spiritual people in this world, they will tell you, okay, God is there. You should try to understand, you should try to love him. That's what, or love him, no, fine. You should try to go to him and ask for your benefits. That's what they say, no? Go to God, pray to him, he will fulfill all your desires. Like that they are going to say. And they will not tell you what to do. They will not tell you what to do. Mostly they will tell you, okay, give us money and we will give you blessings. In India this happens, no? So, or you pray to us, think of us and we will protect you. That's what. But Prabhupada in his books tells us what to do, why to do, and also how to do. He gives us a process. There is no institution which gives you a process. They will tell you, lead your life, do anything you want, and there is blessings of God. Just keep on coming to us and do something, give us money, and that's okay. At the time of death, we will come, Guru will tell, I'll come and take you back. Where? To hell. He's in hell. If he speaks like this, then where he'll go? If you don't give proper knowledge, it is said in scriptures, if a guru cannot deliver his disciple from birth, that disease, old age, Prabhupada says, then he is fit to go to hell. He's not doing his duty, no. He's cheating. So there are many people like that. But Prabhupada speaks what, why and how. What to do, Prabhupada says in life. Okay, what to do, Prabhupada says, understand Krishna. Understand God. He doesn't say simply love him. He says understand him. There's a difference. Mostly Prabhupada says, understand God. Understand how great he is. And if you understand him, then you start loving him. Is it? It's like that, no? You meet a girl, your girlfriend. You ask her name, who are you? She'll tell you, okay, fine. And then where do you live? She'll tell. And the more you know her, the more you'll develop affection, no? Is it like that? Your friends also, the more you know, the more you develop affection. Similarly, the more you know Krishna, the more you develop affection. The less affection you have for Krishna, this means the less you know about him. That is why this class, to give you knowledge, to share knowledge. And that is what to do. What to do is, okay, understand him. Why to do this? Why to love him? So, one person came to Prabhupada, he said, why should we love Krishna? What do we get by loving Krishna? Do we get money? That's the idea, no? Do we get some benefits? So Prabhupada said, Yes, by loving Krishna, you get Krishna. That's what he said. You get God. Prabhupada says, by loving Krishna, Krishna will be in your fist. Whatever you say, he'll do. This is my phone. Can you close it? Sorry for that. Generally I say off the phone, but my phone. Krishna is calling or what? If you love Krishna, he'll call you. It is there only. No, it is there on the outside pocket. If you love Krishna, he'll call you back. So aim of why to do devotion to Krishna? So that you don't have to come back to Houston. That's the idea. Prabhupada said that. Don't come back to this place. It's not a good place. It might seem good, but it's not good. That is illusion. Whatever sees good, Krishna says, if you look deeply, it is ugly. This material world is like that. When you open the box, it's ugly. Krishna says, if you look deeply, superficially everything looks nice, no? That is why it is said, beauty is skin deep. You know this? You have heard this? Is it? So if you have your wife and you strip all the skin, and then she comes, what is going to happen? Fine, your friend, your wife and your girlfriend, you strip all the skin out. You take out all the skin. And then when she'll come, it will be a real horror movie for you. There will be no beauty. It's skin deep. And that's why to do? To understand that we are in a wrong place. We have to go back to Him. And how to do devotion? Prabhupada speaks easily. Prabhupada says, chant Hare Krishna, simple. It seems simple, but it's very deep. It is, you all understand this. It is simple, but it's very deep, because there is the essence of all scriptures, which Prabhupada is giving in 3 lines. If you read Vedas, suktas after suktas, there are prayers again and again. We are bonded in this birth and death. Prahlad Maharaj says, Padam Padam Yad Vipadam. There is always great danger in this material world. We don't feel like that, but there is. You see, when you come from India to America, you are in plane. Everybody comes, plane. When you are sitting, most of the people, what they do? They see movies, is it? They see movies, no? Most of them. But the point is, you are in a very dangerous position in flight. You are flying 14,000 feet above the ground in a tin cage. Anytime it can get destroyed and you'll die in an instant. You are in such a dangerous position and you are seeing movie. Isn't it madness? You are mad. And Prabhupada said, people who don't understand the situation of this world, they are mad. This word is like that flight. We are sitting here, everything looks nice inside the plane, but if you see the large picture, we are in a very dangerous position. Anytime, anything can happen. Anything can happen. You might not be able to walk out of this room. Who knows? We can get heart attack, no? Brain stroke, there are so many things. There are 3,000 diseases. 3,000. What we know, what man knows. There are more than that. And the miracle is, we don't even have a single disease. At least young people. Old people might be having. But we are okay, we are fine. But all around us, there are diseases, there are problems, there are enemies, there's this, that. So who is... but still we are feeling we are safe. That is illusion. So Prabhupada says, so that is why you see, these are simple statements, but very deep. And that is what is practical realization of Prabhupada. Prabhupada always set basic concepts. He repeated it to help us imbibe them and actually follow them in our life. If we can follow these basic concepts, our life is absolutely perfect. We'll be perfect. That is second important contribution of Prabhupada books. And in fact, Prabhupada says how to actually achieve God. He gives us 2 tips. He says, okay, how to attain Krishna? 2 tips. First is, Prabhupada always stresses in his books, modulate your life. Change your lifestyle. Without changing your lifestyle a little bit, it is very difficult to attain God. Like for example, we get up in the morning. No, it's nice to get up in the morning. So change your lifestyle. Make your lifestyle in such a way so that it is favorable to understand Him. Not just make your life in such a way so that you don't have even time to understand Him. So one tip. And the second tip Prabhupada gives in his books, actually that is very unique of Prabhupada's books. He redefines every word. You can read all Vedas, you can read all Upanishads, but still you will be confused. Because you can read the word, but you will not understand the import of that word. Like for example, if I say liberation. Now what do you understand by this word, liberation? Nothing. Because everybody has different conception of liberation. If I say liberation, some people might be thinking, we need to have liberation, I need to get liberated from my wife and as soon as possible. That's, some people think like that. So that's his understanding of liberation. So I might be telling about liberation, but he's understanding some different thing. Or some people think liberation means becoming zero. Shunya, nirvana. So that's also idea. Some people think liberation means to be free of birth, to be free of sins. Only sins. Some people think liberation means to be free of birth and death. To be free of America and Houston, go back to God. Some people say liberation means love. So what is right, what is wrong? How do you understand? There are so many meanings. So if you read Vedas, you'll be confused. And Prabhupada in his books, he gives exact meaning of the words. For example, Prabhupada defines enthusiasm as intelligence. And that's a very beautiful meaning. In Nectar of Instruction, his small book, as intelligence. Because without intelligence, we can't understand the subject. Without understanding the subject, you don't get enthusiasm. Is it? Prabhupada redefines in his books the word bhava, not as emotions, but as service. So if I bhava means emotions in general, but it defines as service. Because if I have emotions for somebody, I should be acting on that emotions, is it? That's important, no? Or somebody will say, I love you, but I'll not do anything for you. But I love you very much. So you do everything, I am going to sleep. Doesn't make any sense. True emotions will definitely lead to true actions, no? So we love God, we'll do something for Him. We don't just sit and, okay, I love you, that's all. That is no love. And that's why Prabhupada translates bhava not as emotions but as service. You have to serve Him. Prabhupada translates devotion not as love but as consciousness. Krishna consciousness. Because devotion means consciousness. Krishna will see what you are thinking in your soul. He has X-ray vision. He'll see exactly what is your intention. Okay, you might be serving a flower, but then what is your intention inside? What is your consciousness? Why you are serving me flower? For money? That's bad. For peace and satisfaction? That's not so good. If you are offering me love, if you are offering me flower just to offer me flower, and that's nice. No, that's good. So devotion means consciousness. Prabhupada translates illusion not as magic. Illusion means no magic. No, he translates illusion as misconceptions. We have so many misconceptions, and that is illusion. That is illusion. So we have misconception, we'll do in life like this, like this, like this, like this. That is illusion. We have misconception, we have a lot of time. That is illusion. We have misconception that whatever you do, you will attain Krishna. No, wrong. You have to follow a process. So that's the beauty of his books. Prabhupada gives practical realizations by helping us to understand how should we lead our life. Not just do 5 minutes puja or come once to temple. No, you have to change your life little bit according to the program given. And also Prabhupada helps us understand the import of each word. That's why these books are very important. This Gita is very important. When you read, you will know. So what is that? Proof of pudding is in eating. That's his books. And the third important thing of his books is, Prabhupada doesn't give his realizations just out of his own mind. He bases his realizations according to scriptural evidences. And if you read Prabhupada books, after some explanation there's a verse. Then explanation, then a verse. If you take any other spiritual book from the market, there'll be just stories going on. No verse from any scripture. And Prabhupada says, okay, I am giving you realization, but I have not cooked it. There are verses. In fact, when you read Prabhupada books, you can do a game. You can play a game with that. And the game is, you read every line and you try to think which verse Prabhupada is thinking. He is thinking of some verse of scripture and then writing. That's why Prabhupada said, my books are as it is. As it is. It is just scripture, and that is why they have force. They have force in those. And that's the third point. It is evidence-based. Prabhupada books have summation of all sampradayas. You know, there are 4 schools of spirituality. Ramanuja, Madhva, Vallabha and Nimbark. So there's a letter by Prabhupada, and this is 1976 January from Bombay. In that letter, the last line, 1976 January Bombay, in that last line Prabhupada writes, service is reward of service. Beautiful line, and it's the essence of Ramanuja Sampradaya. So why are you serving Krishna? To get more service. That's all. So you are serving, so okay fine, you might be serving Krishna, serving devotees of Lord, you might be serving khichdi. Khichdi like we do to people. And then whole life you do that. And then Krishna comes to you and he says, I've come to bless you. And you're so excited, wow, I'll get some nice thing. Krishna says, my blessing is you go and distribute khichdi. That's what is his blessings. Service is reward of service. When you serve him, he will give you more service. When you serve him more, he will engage you more. That's what's happened in company, no? Companies happens like that, no? When you do job nicely, they will promote you, but promotion means more job. And when you do very nicely, then they'll give you more responsibility, more responsibility, more responsibility. This is how devotion is. When you serve him, he'll give you more service and a more difficult service. He expects from you something. So you might say, oh, no, so I will not serve him, I'll get more difficult service. But difficult service means more reward. More higher the position, the more money you get, no? Is it? And more excitement. More excitement, more adventure. Prabhupada had the most difficult service to preach to entire world. What do you do with that? But what was the reward? We know what was the reward. That is Krishna. So that is what Prabhupada books are. Prabhupada books are the essence of all sampradayas. If you go to Sri Rangam, you ask them what is the essence of your sampradaya. They'll say this line, service is reward of service. Sevayam phalam seva bhavati. This is Sanskrit. Even if you don't know Sanskrit, no problem. It is said in English by Prabhupada. After 12 years, you read this statement, Sevayam phalam seva bhavati, and you translate, service is reward of service. That's there in Prabhupada books. Why you have to spend 12 years? What's the point? To follow it. So that's a beautiful statement. And in Bhagavatam 1st canto, 16th chapter, 26th verse, Prabhupada makes a statement. And he says, when you serve Krishna, Krishna will want to serve you. Oh, that's very nice. This is the essence of Vallabh Sampradaya. So you know Gujarat, Nathdwara? If you go to them, you ask, okay, what is the essence of your teachings? They will say, if you serve God, God will serve you. We think he gives mercy, but he thinks I am serving devotees. There's a difference. From our perspective, what is mercy? From his perspective, that is service to devotees. And Prabhupada gives his insight in Bhagavatam. Beautiful insight. So, Prabhupada books a summation of all realizations. And then, to establish some truth, to establish Krishna, you also need to put efforts. That is why it is said, in Sanskrit it is said, if even a lion has to do efforts, to get a food. No, although lion is a king, food doesn't come in his mouth. My dear king, open your mouth, I want to enter it. Even though he's a king, everybody is afraid. He has to go in jungle, hunt and take his food. Similarly, even though Prabhupada's books and philosophy is perfect, if you read it, you will come to know, as I am showing you, is summation of all sampradayas, no doubt. Still, you have to put efforts to establish it in people's heart, in your own heart. And that is why fourth uniqueness of Prabhupada's books is Prabhupada's books have fire of preaching and the fire of sadhana. If you read Prabhupada's books, you will be inspired to chant. You will be very enthusiastic. Once one devotee asked, when I was giving a class in Ujjain, Ujjain. So then one devotee asked another devotee, how much years this Prabhu has been there in ISKCON? So that devotee told 21 years. So then he asked, how is so enthusiastic still? That was his question. Because generally enthusiasm with years, familiarity, enthusiasm comes down. But the secret of enthusiasm is reading Prabhupada's books. Because in books, again and again, he's inspiring us. Don't waste time. Don't waste time. Perfect your life. If you don't have time, okay, don't waste time. Yeah, I'll just finish now. And the fire of sadhana. Prabhupada helps us, keeps us on track in his books. Get up in the morning, you read 10th canto commentary. 10th canto is do with pastimes of Krishna. But what Prabhupada is mentioning there? Prabhupada is saying, get up in the morning, remain clean. When initially I read that, I thought it's so simple, it's basics, but it's not basics. It's very difficult to daily get up in the morning and remain clean, not in body, but also in mind. That's very difficult. But he's keeping on a track. That's what Vedas do. Shurasya dhara nishita durataya. This path is like walking on a sword without the association of devotees. But with association of devotees and proper knowledge, it is a royal road, Prabhupada says. So that becomes easy. And Prabhupada's books help us to inspire us to serve him. How to do that? You have to give knowledge in a very systematic way. Prabhupada's books are very systematic. Some people are saying Prabhupada's books are not systematic. That's absolutely wrong. Prabhupada gives the theme of his books in the book. If you read Bhagavad Gita, last chapter, Prabhupada says, what is Bhagavad Gita all about? Prabhupada gives systematic knowledge of every chapter, right at the end of the chapter. Every verse, he gives, this verse is dealing with this concept. So it's very systematic. Although it's not in points, 1, 2, 3, 4. We think systematic means points, but it's not like that. But nevertheless, if you read properly, everything is systematic and we can understand it properly and get inspired. And the last thing is, Prabhupada's books can be read, understood and realized by all. Prabhupada's small books are not small, as I often say. If you read Elevation to Krishna Consciousness, everything is there. You are not this body and Radharani is Mahabhav. So Prabhupada's books, every page has everything. No matter from wherever you eat, sugar candy is always sweet. Prabhupada said, it's Prabhupada's books. So, child can understand and a scholar can do PhD. No matter, you might be 25, 50 years in movement. If you read Prabhupada's books, you will think it's something new. Still, that's the uniqueness of these books. And that is why Prabhupada said, please take out time, read my books. Prabhupada said the complaint with my devotees is they are not reading books. That's Prabhupada said. Right at the beginning, 1972, 1977 also. And we have to read them, help people to understand them. And that is why Prabhupada said, I shall never die, I shall forever live in my books. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So, just before I take questions, just one thing I just want to announce. To present Prabhupada's books in a systematic fashion, more understandable and more detailed fashion, more in a scientific fashion actually. That's what my job is, to preach to scientists. I have written some books. If you want, these books will be available in Gauranga Hall. I'll just briefly announce, this is one book, Crazy Ideas, which I have written. I know many people who are hearing this lecture, all questions are not answered. There are many crazy ideas So all are there in this book. Most of the book is wrong because I have to explain what is your idea, why it is crazy. First I have to explain that. So it is from Prabhupada books and many other scriptures also to help to show you how Prabhupada is giving the essence of all scriptures. And then all these arguments are there. So you can take this book. Why different scriptures are speaking different things? Why there are so many religions? Why there are so many gods? All these questions are handled and answered properly. You can take this book to help in preaching and also personal understanding. And this is one book. Since I am a scientist, I have written a book, Science Fails to Explain Life. Science has no idea what is life, what is genes. You are hearing about genes. The concept of genes is fully changing. It's out of normal today modern academical world. How we are led to believe that they are genes, and still we believe that, but everything is changing. And how today's genetics is very, very backward. And there are many things in Vedas. Genes also have time and mind with that, and how that works to help us make a human and help us regulate and define a life. Everything is there. The story of life, that is there in this book. How we are being cheated in this society by all the genetic stuff, and there are many things more. That is there in this. And this is one book, Mighty Efforts. This is for devotees. How Prabhupada is saying in his book, put efforts. Every day we should double our efforts, Prabhupada says. And how we can put efforts. What are the steps to Temple of Love of God? Where we are. How do we know where we are? How do we know how much we have to do? Everything is scientifically defined. This is there in this book. And there are some lectures in English and Hindi. You can take this. And for Hindi people, there is one book, 𝗲𝗂𝗪𝗲𝗀. Who understands, they will understand. 𝗲𝗂𝗪𝗲𝗀 means madness. So anyway, you come to know what when you read this book, what's it about. So, is there any questions? And I'm done. No time? Okay. If there's no time, then you can meet me in Gauranga Hall. I'll be standing there. Whatever I know, I can share with you. And please buy some of the Prabhupada books. They'll be there in the counter also. Here in the counter?
Yes.
Yeah. Read them. In fact, it is said in scriptures that nobody is brahmachari. You know this why? Because every person is should marry to scriptures. So everybody has 2 wives. You have all 2 wives if you want.
6 wives.
Everybody should have 2 wives. Every grhasta. One is his wife, and another is Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada books. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.